Kawhi. He comes away with a steal. The gift of grab elevates and punches it in with the right hand.
Before we start this tutorial, let me make a little plug for my After Effects Master Course, and that is for those who are interested in learning After Effects from zero. So if you're a beginner, you want to gain a rock solid foundation, head over to aemastercourse.com. The link is in the description. This is a course, an online course that I built based on my professional experience. Once you sign up, you own this for life. You can go at your own pace. And definitely check it out. You have a couple free, actually 3 free lessons that you can check out for the beginner's course, for the intermediate course. All you need to do is just register with an email and check out some of the reviews on what the students are saying about the course. So let's go to our tutorial for today. In this tutorial, we will be using 2 products. Number 1 is Mocha from Boris FX, and the second one is Liquid Elements from AE Juice. And we'll talk about AE Juice later on. But for now, I'm collaborating with the people over at Boris FX. They're giving us an amazing discount, 15% off any of their products, which, by the way, I use them all the time at the NFL. If you're interested, check out all that information in the description below. But for this tutorial, we'll be using Mocha AE. So don't worry, you don't have to purchase anything, but definitely take advantage of this discount because they have amazing software. And by the way, Silhouette is one of their new products, and I'll be doing a review. I'll be doing a tutorial on using it. It is amazing. Can't wait to show you guys this new software. Okay, let's go back to our tutorial. Let's get started, amigos. Hit Control-I or Command-I if you're using an Apple computer to import our footage. And I'm going to select this clip, which actually I downloaded from YouTube, from the NBA YouTube channel. And up here, you can see that it's 1280 by 720. It's not the highest resolution. And for some reason, it comes in as 29.971 frames per second. Let's fix it. Let's make it exactly 29.97. Make sure that your video is selected and go down here to this button to interpret footage, and where it says frame rate, let's conform to this frame rate and let's put 29.97 and hit OK. Perfect. Now let's click and drag to the composition icon, and what I'll do is I'll scrub through, and it's actually at, let's jump exactly to 1105. And this is a start. Now, what we want to do is we want to trim, because this is about a 15 minute clip. And if you download it from YouTube or from any of these sources, you'll get a huge file. And we only want to work in that specific, specific spot or segment in your video. So what we'll do is we'll hit B for Bravo to set the endpoint of the work area. You can always drag, but B for Bravo is your friend. And let's zoom in. Let's drag and let's see. Let's check it out. Okay, right here, let's go page down to go frame by frame. And I think at 11:12, we'll stop right here. So hit N for November as your out point. So we have the in point, B for Bravo, the letter N for November as your out point of your work area. Once you establish that, we can right click and say trim comp to work area. And there it is. So this is exact. Let's actually do a RAM preview. Let's go ahead, and you can see that this is the specific section that we'll be using for this tutorial. Once we have that, make sure that it's selected and go up to Effect and go to Boris FX Mocha. And we can track it with Mocha AE, which comes free inside of After Effects. And if you have the paid version of Mocha, you can also do it in Mocha Pro. But for most of you, we'll do it in Mocha AE. The same steps applies to Mocha Pro. Now to launch Mocha, let's click on the button. And if you launch Mocha, you might be here in Essentials. What we'll do is we'll go to Classic because we'll be doing a little bit more advanced things in Mocha. So let's go and switch it to the Classic. And before we do anything else, let's go to File. Let's go to Project Settings, and let's just make sure that we have the right frame rate, 29.97. Perfect. Okay, ready to go ahead and start tracking. Now, this technique, this feature freeze, I've tested out for basketball, works perfectly for basketball. I haven't really tried it out for football, hockey, or soccer, but if you're into those sports, definitely try it out. There are a couple things that works really well in basketball that hopefully can apply as well to hockey, to football, and soccer or football. And that is you want to track the logo, the center field logo or the center court logo and other things on the field. So the more, if you have logos or any distinct textures, that really helps. For example, here we're going to track the Los Angeles Lakers logo in the center court. And here, the paint area, we can track the Lakers, we can track the logo and this paint area of this basketball court. But before we do that, what we need to do is you can see that LeBron James crosses over the center court, the logo in the center court, and we have these players as well. Now, what we'll do is we'll create a holdout mat. That means that we'll track these players and we'll create a mat so we can subtract them from our actual tracker. And let's do that first. Let's go back. Now, right about here, what I'm going to do is let's go to the box and let's just draw a simple box around LeBron James, and let's rename this to LeBron. And I'll just change the colors and let's make it purple for the Lakers. And we can click on this button so we can see the area that is encompassing. And with Mocha, I'll do a manual track because I already tried it. And what we can do is, if I show you, we're only interested in translation. And if I start tracking this, it's going to slip. Right now, it's doing a pretty good job. Actually, it's doing a pretty decent job. Here is going to slip a little bit. You can see that it kind of slipped. So what we can do is we can go back. Maybe here, we can add a keyframe. You see this little green triangle or diamond? That is a keyframe. And right here, let's manually track it. So let's move this. We can move this whole box. Let's keep moving this. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is just like a holdout mat. This is like, think of it as a garbage mat. It doesn't have to be extremely accurate, perfect. This is just so we can subtract this general area from our main tracker. And then let's bring LeBron James. Let's go back. I accidentally deselected. And this is good. Now let's trim this tracker. Let's trim the out point of this tracker right here. So let's go here and click on this button. This is the out point. You can see right here it ends. And let's go backwards. And let's move this here. And perfect. Let's set the endpoint of this tracker at this point. Let's go here and set the endpoint. And if I click on this button so we can see. So this is the area that we have. Like I said, it's just a general area. Now, once we're done, you see this little gear? This means that we're ready to track. Now, we already did a manual track, very loose manual track. So we want to turn it off. So this little gear means to enable the tracker. We want to disable it because we're already done. So it's good practice to click on it to turn it off. And what I'll do is I'll actually hide this layer right now. And let's go ahead and let's do one more for this teammate. So what we'll do is, again, go to the box. And let's change the color to yellow for the Laker color. And let's call it teammate. So let's click teammate. Perfect. And we'll do a manual track. So we'll just move it. And when we move it, it adds the keyframes. And I think this is good. We can start right here. So let's click on the endpoint. And right here, feel free, amigos, to try to let Mocha help you a little bit. But this is something that's so loose. We can actually do this. We can expand this a little bit. This is something that's so loose that it's actually sometimes easier just to do like a manual track. And let's bring this down here. Let's make this bigger. Perfect. And then you see this guy keeps going. This guy keeps going. And what we can do is we can actually go here and then switch to him. Let's switch to him. Let's keep going. Okay, and let's end it right here. So let's end this right here. And let's go back and let's see. So we have these guys, they're all inside. Perfect. And let's turn off the tracker. We want to disable it because we're done tracking. And let's bring back LeBron James. So we have 2 holdout mats, one for the teammate and the opponent, and one for LeBron James. Now we're ready to set up our trackers for the center court and for the paint area. And what we'll do is let's go back right here where we can see it and go to the X spline and let's loosely draw a shape. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go back to the X spline, click on it, and now we can loosely draw a shape around the center court logo. And let's call this center court. And what I'll do is I'll change these colors. Let's just change the color so it's easier to see and track. Let's change the color. And now this is really important. We need to move this layer all the way to the bottom. And you can see that LeBron James, we click on center court and we go to this button and we go to selected track mats, or we go to all mats. Actually, let's go back to selected track mats. And if I move forward, any layer that is above our center court will be subtracted from our tracker. So that means that LeBron James and the teammate, those shapes will be subtracted from our center court tracker. And that's exactly what we want. And the reason that we want to do that is sometimes if you're tracking in Mocha and you have something that goes inside the area that you're tracking, it can confuse Mocha and it'll throw the tracker off. Sometimes it works good. It doesn't matter. Mocha is smart enough to recognize, hey, this is something, an object that's quickly moving across. Let's ignore those pixels. But there are times where Mocha goes crazy and it doesn't know what to do. So that's the reason we're creating these holdout mats to subtract that area. For example, LeBron James, that general area that's going across our tracker. And what we can do is from here, let's go ahead. And in motion, we're only interested in the top 3: translation, scale, and rotation. So let's deselect the shear and make sure that shear and perspective are not selected. We don't want that. Only translation, scale, and rotation. And what we'll do is we'll start tracking from this point backwards. So let's go here and let's track backwards. And you can see that it's subtracting that area of LeBron James. And you can see this guy, he's getting into our area. We should have done a holdout mat as well for him, but it looks like it's doing a good job. It looked like Mocha did a good job of ignoring that player in there. But he could have caused some issues. He could have caused some problems. And now from this point, let's track forward. So let's go and let's track forward. And as we're tracking forward, you can see that is ignoring that area of LeBron James, is subtracting that area, and is subtracting that area of this player. And that's exactly what we want. It'll give us a more accurate track. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, let's stop it right around here. And what we'll do is let's trim this tracker right here at this point, at this frame. Let's click on the out point and we have this so far. And remember, once we're done tracking, let's click on the gear to disable it. That means it's disabled. We're not going to track this anymore. And let's go forward. Let's go right around here. And let's do one more. And this one will be for this paint area. So you have a couple options. We have Lakers, and that is a good pattern, good texture to help us track. We can use the logo down here, and we can also use the paint area. It has these geometric shapes, these circles in it. And what we'll do is go back to the X spline. Let's click on it, and I'm going to include this very rough. And let's call this paint. And again, let's bring it all the way down to the bottom. Let's change the color. Let's actually leave it red. And this one, let's leave it red. And you can see that it's subtracting the area of LeBron James, which is perfect. We don't want to confuse. This is going to help give us a more accurate track and avoid any confusion with Mocha. And since we're done with center court, we don't need to see it. But remember, in order to subtract that, we need to have that layer all the way in the bottom of the layer stack. And let's go to motion. We're only interested in the top three. So deselect shear and perspective. And what we'll do is we'll track backwards from this point. And right about here, let's stop it. You can see that we got an error because we ran out. So what we'll do is right around here, let's say right around here, we can set the endpoint. Let's set the endpoint right here of this tracker. And let's go to the keyframe and let's track forward. You can see that it's subtracting that area of LeBron James. Then it's also going to subtract this area as well. And the reason that's working is because this layer is all the way at the bottom. Anything above it will be subtracted. And I think we can stop. Let's keep tracking for a little bit more in case we need those extra data. Okay, let's stop it right around here. And let's click on the out point. And let's go back and let's check it out. Okay, perfect. And what we can do is let's disable it and let's bring back the center tracker. So once you're done, once you're at this stage, at this point, what you need to do is simply save, Control S to save, and let's close it. Let's close Mocha. And all that tracking data is inside the plugin. Now we need to extract that tracking data and we need to apply it to a null object. So let's go ahead and go to layer. Let's go to new null object. And what I'll do is Control D or Command D to make a copy. This first one, let's call it center court tracker. And the second one, let's call it paint for the paint area, paint tracker. And let's go to our clip. Let's rename it to video. And let's go down to tracking data and click on, actually, let's make it bigger so you can see this. Click on create track data. And now it's going to ask you which layer do you want to extract all that information. First one is center court. Let's click on it, hit OK. And it loaded all that tracking data to, let's go down to export option. Let's switch it to transform and layer export. Let's go to center court tracker and let's hit apply. And let's go to our center court tracker, hit U, and you can see that all of our tracking data is here until we set the out point in Mocha. So what I'll do is I'll hit J on the keyboard to go to the last. If you're here, you can hit J and it'll jump to the very last keyframe. And let's trim this layer at this point. So Alt right bracket is to trim. You can always trim by bringing in the edges, dragging the edges, but Alt right bracket is to trim the out point. Now let's go back to our video, go back to create track data, and now click on paint, hit OK, and it loaded all that tracking data from the paint. And again, transform, and this one, let's switch it to paint tracker and hit apply export. Now let's minimize this, hit U for the paint tracker. And you can see this are all the keyframes for the paint tracker. What I'm going to do is go to the beginning, somewhere around here before all the keyframes, and hit K to jump to the first one. And let's trim this one right here. And let's do Alt left bracket to trim the endpoint. And remember, amigos, you can always drag as well. Let's go here. Let's jump here. Hit the letter J to jump to the last one. And Alt right bracket to trim. So we have these two trackers. We have the center court and we have the paint tracker. So let's go ahead and let's do the freeze. And I think what we'll do is let's zoom in. We can do one right here. So let's shift one to add a marker. And then let's do one right here, shift two to add another marker. And then we can do one like right, let's see, right there. Let's go one more. Let's go back right here, shift three. Now, amigos, this section is up to you. How many freeze do you want to add? In the example I think I added about 7 different freeze. For this tutorial, not to make it too long, I'm only going to show you 3, but feel free to add as many as you want. The process is exactly the same, and I'll go through the process here. So what I do is I set the markers exactly where I want to freeze, and then what I'll do is go to my video and hit Control D or Command D to make a copy, and we can delete the Mocha plugin. And this one, let's rename it. Let's take out the audio. Let's rename it to Freeze, and I'll call it Freeze A. And let's make 2 more copies. And this one could be Freeze B. And then this one, Freeze C. Okay, let's go to Freeze A. And what we'll do is at this point, we'll right click, time, and let's freeze it, freeze frame. Let's jump to our second marker. Let's go to Freeze B. And again, let's freeze this, time, freeze frame. Let's jump to the last one and select Freeze C. And go to time, freeze frame. Okay, so we have these 3 layers frozen in time. And let's go to Freeze A. Let's go back to the first one, this first marker. And let's solo this layer so we can see it. And now what we'll do is we'll go to the pen tool and let's cut it out. And what I'll do for now is you can see that the quality of these YouTube videos are not that great. And I'm going to go pretty fast on me because I'm not going to do a very accurate mask, but definitely take your time and try to make as best as you can despite the quality of this video. And you can see that it was encoded at a lower bit rate. Okay, so we have it cut out, and if I click on the transparency grid, you can see that it's on transparent. And now what we'll do is let's unsolo it. Let's hide B and C, the freeze. Let's hide these 2 layers for now. And let's go to Freeze A. And right at this point, what we want to do is using the pick whip, let's parent it to our center court tracker. Now, when we move, you can see that it's perfectly frozen in time right here. And then once LeBron James goes right into his future self right there, what we can do is for the Freeze A, we can trim this layer, the out point. So Alt right bracket. Now let's go to Freeze B. Let's do the same thing. Let's jump right here. And let's go ahead and let's cut it out again. This one. Go to the pen tool and let's cut it out. And again, amigos, definitely take your time to cut it out. Actually going to try to go pretty fast on this. Okay, so this one, if we solo this one, the freeze B, you can see that, and we click on the transparency grid, we have it cut out. And now on this one, what we can do is this. We can parent it to the center core or the paint tracker. Definitely the center core tracker will give you the most, and that'll be the easiest because we have the most data. You can see that we have all this. Let me just show it to you right now. Let's parent it to the center core tracker and freeze B. Let's cut it right here. And we go back. You see we have all this. Boom, right there. Now, see this, perfect. Now there might be times where you don't have enough data and you have to stitch the player, the freeze, maybe using half from one tracker and the other half using the other tracker. And let me show you how to do that. So for this example, for the freeze B, instead of using the center core tracker, what I'll do is, let me undo. I'll go ahead and use the paint tracker. You can see the paint tracker ends right here. So for now, freeze B, let's use the paint tracker. Let's end it right here. And I'm using Alt right bracket to trim right here. So right now it's good. But once we run out, and if I zoom in, and I'll show you right here, you can see that after this section, that's it. We don't have any more tracking. We don't have any more tracking data. What we can do is, for the freeze B, up to this point, we're good. From here to this, from this marker all the way to the beginning, we're good. But now what we need to do is splice this layer, Control Shift D, splice this layer, and then the first half, now what we'll do is we'll switch it to the center core because we have all this tracking data from the center core. And in some of the examples that I did, that's what I had to do. I had to use half from, tracker A and the other half from tracker B. So that is a trick. That's a hack. If you don't have enough tracking data, you can use half from, or a portion of one tracker and a portion of another tracker. And let's go back and let's see how this works. Let's see right here. We can trim this one. Freeze B, trim the endpoint because we don't see it. And let's play it back. There we go. So it goes in. Perfect. Okay, and then let's go to the last one. Freeze C. And again, let's go ahead and let's cut it out. Let's cut this out. And what we'll do for this one, this is easy. We can just track it to the paint tracker. And let's go back. Let's go back. And perfect. We don't need to stitch it. We almost need it. And what we can do is let's trim the endpoint right here, Alt left bracket. Okay, and then right here at 3, we can cut it. Select this layer, Alt right bracket. Just know that you can always drag the edges of the in point and the out point of any of these layers. Okay. Now what I like to do is I like to give it a tritone, so we can go in and go to Effect, Color Correction, and let's go to tritone. And then this one, what we can do is for the midtones, let's go ahead and sample the yellow. And we can copy this one, and let's just go to these. Let's paste it. Control C, Command C to copy. Control V, Command V to paste. And let's check it out. There we go. We got that one and that one. Head over to aejuice.com. They have a lot of awesome products for filmmakers, for motion designers, for editors. Definitely check it out. They might have products that you may be interested, may help you in your work. They have all the bundle. They have Kinetic, Cyberpunk, Seamless. But the one that I'm using, let's go to products. And the one that I'm using for this tutorial, and the one that is really good for sports, is the Liquid Elements. This is the one that I'm using. And actually, they have a nice sale going at the moment, and it's pretty good. What I'm going to do is switch over to this page, and just show you some of the things that they have. These are all pre-rendered, so you can use it in Premiere, you can use it in DaVinci, Vegas, you can use it in Final Cut, and you can change the color, you can add glow. Let's go to explosions, fire flames, got fire loops, fire sparks. They have glass crack. That's the one that I use for the rim. They have impacts. And it's really good. I've been using this for the last month, just trying it out. And it's something that I really, really like. They have great stuff. One stuff that I like is, let's go back. Let's see. Noise. I think noise. Noise is really cool. They have a lot of cool stuff with noise. Really cool things. They got swishes. So this is a great pack. And if you're, especially if you're into sports, this should really make it fun. Just compositing all these different elements. If you're interested in this liquid elements pack, I've included a link in the description, so check it out. Let's go ahead and let's add a couple of these liquid elements into our footage. Let me show you how to composite, how to parent it, and some of the things you can do. And once you're in it, feel free to add as many, because the more you add, the more fun and the more enjoyable, the better your piece will look. So hit Control-I, Command-I to import. And what we'll do is actually go to the folder where I have liquid elements, and I'll go to this folder called Final Cut Pro X Apple Motion Nuke. Now you can work natively inside of After Effects. It also comes with this plugin manager, so you can just use it in After Effects, and it has all the effects in After Effects. But I'm just using the pre-rendered animation. Sometimes it's just quicker for me to just go in, get it. But you have the option to go either route. So what I'll do is I'll go to explosions, and I'll use number 59 and 73. Let's go to these two, hit import, and let's play it back for you. Actually, let's make it smaller. We have this one, and then we have 73. Okay, so what we'll do is let's go to 59. Let's bring it in. And we'll use this when LeBron dunks right here. So let's bring this one in here and hit Y so we can move the anchor point. Let's move this up here. Hit S for scale. We can scale it down. Let's scale it down to maybe about 70. And then here we can parent it to our paint tracker. And what we can do is let's go to generate fill. Let's change the color. Let's make it, let's make it white. Go to effect, go to stylize. Let's go to glow. And let's make this 75 for the radius. And for the intensity, let's make it 2. And for the glow colors, go to A and B colors. And let's switch these colors. And for color B, let's make it more orange. So we have this, and let's check it out. Okay, so this looks pretty good. And don't forget, you can add a blending mode if you want. Let's go ahead and make a copy of this. Control D, Command D if you're using Apple computer. And let's swap this. Holding on to Alt, let's swap. And this one, let's bring it over a little bit. And what we can do is can change this color. Let's change this color. Let's see. And we can go ahead and change the blending mode to lighten. And we might need to move it. Let's move it down here. And you can see it's kind of big. So what we can do is scale it down even more, maybe about 35%. See, there you go. And that is how you can use these liquid elements. Just parent it to the tracker that you already tracked inside of Mocha. And I think that it's a little, comes in a little too soon. Let's see. Yeah, a little too soon. So what we can do is let's go ahead and move this right there. There you go. So I think the timing is better now. Let's check it out. And as LeBron is running, you can add the water splashes. You can add these splashes. That's what I did. And you can add swishes. These swishes, I added these swishes. Go wild in this one. You have so many different options. It's really just, it's a lot of fun. You know, I have fun just trying out different things. And amigos, thank you for watching. And remember that life is truly a gift. Make it count.